Welcome to another episode of the Goralnik Hour. I am your host, Brian Goralnik. Thank you for joining me on this Wednesday afternoon. Hope you're listening on allnoiseradio.com, keyword sports, or maybe you downloaded the app, Live 365. Just type in All Noise Radio Sports, and you can listen live for free to me from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday, with the exception of yesterday, because obviously I was not here. I did not do a show yesterday. I could not be in. We had the day off. It was a nice day off, to say the least. But let's get into it. This is our recap lap, as we do at the start of every show. Not much to recap in the sporting world. Really, Major League Baseball. I mean, it was All-Star, not weekend, but it was All-Star week, All-Star midweek. Would that be the way to say it? It was the All-Star Tuesday and Wednesday, as the Home Run Derby. Yoenis Cespedes repeats. He's the only repeater since Ken Griffey Jr. That's right. Puts him in a class of his own. He defends the title. Like I said, only he and Ken Griffey Jr. First back-to-back winners. So we'll get into the Home Run Derby in a little bit. Let's start with last night. It was the All-Star game. And it was Jeter. The big story was Derek Jeter's final All-Star game. This was it. This was his final All-Star game. No more will he be in the All-Star game. And now we see how he performs. How do you do in your final All-Star game, knowing that this is it? You will not have another All-Star game. This is your final season. This is a big farewell to and from the entire Major League Baseball. I mean, he will have his farewell from, Yankee Stadium and his farewell from the last place he plays. But this is the farewell from Major League Baseball. Fans from all over come to the All-Star game. Fans from all different teams, players from all different teams are all in one building, and they all give him his final farewell. Well, how does Jeter respond? Take a listen. Here's his first at-bat.
Now batting for the American League from the New York Yankees, the shortstop, number 2, Derek Jeter, number 2.
And you just get absolute chills right now. The entire stadium erupting, giving him an ovation that he will surely remember, as he is all smiles. And just, if you're a sports fan, if you're just a fan of any good human being, you got chills right now. His opponents clapping, his teammates clapping, fans clapping, and here you go. Here's his first at-bat. You hear him say congratulations to the catcher. I mean, this is an ovation for him. He's congratulating someone else. That's the definition of Derek Jeter. First pitch in the dirt by Adam Wainwright. And the stadium gets quiet.
What a start. Into the corner. Jeter will dig for 2. And he starts his night with a double. If he's going to go out on the big stage, here tonight. Who knows where the Yankees will end up, guys? This is exactly what we've seen from Derek Jeter for 20 years.
Are we surprised? I mean, every time there's a big moment, he steps up. And he takes the classic Derek Jeter swing inside out into the corner for the double. Start off with the great play. Had there been no replay, guys, we talk about that play because he's been called out by the ump with the moment the night is. I mean, Tom, you've watched it forever, too. It's incredible, right?
A swing that launched more than 3,400 hits. Hasn't changed all that much over the years.
Unbelievable stuff from Derek Jeter. How iconic is it that Derek Jeter, number 2, is the leadoff batter, and on his second pitch, on his number 2 pitch of the All-Star game, he hits his classic double down the line, and he gets a 2-bagger. Number 2, on the second pitch, gets a double. I'm seeing a lot of 2s here. I mean, that is just incredible stuff by Derek Jeter. Surely made him happy. Definitely brought a smile to his face. And he would eventually score on the play as well. And eventually, I mean, next batter, Mike Trout, would bang a triple off the wall, bringing Derek Jeter in. So he gets a run off of his first major league, his first at-bat in his last Major League All-Star game. Unbelievable stuff. And in the 4th inning, it is time to pull Jeter out. It is time for his exit. Take a listen.
Top of the 4th inning rolls in. New pitcher for the American League is Chris Sale, the left-hander from the Chicago White Sox. And here's the moment for Derek Jeter.
There's the curtain call. And there is not one person in the stands that does not realize the importance of what's going on, the history behind what's going on. Everybody understands the magnitude of Derek Jeter exiting his final All-Star game. Just an incredible career, and it really is touching to see fans from every single team giving this guy a standing ovation. Coaches and players from other teams feeling blessed. I mean, the smile that they have on their face to be able to shake Derek Jeter's hand as he walked through the dugout. As everybody was cheering, he went through the dugout, shook everybody's hand, gave some people hugs. Everybody. I mean, Red Sox coaches, the David Price was down there. Players, his rivals, players that don't even play against him, players. It's just unbelievable. It was great to see. And listen, what a way for Derek Jeter to go out. 2 for 2 in the third inning. He had a bloop single that didn't lead to anything, but no runs from it, no RBIs from it. But he finished 2 for 2, and he had a run. And you know what? He also became the oldest player in history, the oldest player in Major League Baseball All-Star history to have 2 hits. The 40-year-old Derek Jeter had 2 hits, and like I said, that puts him in a class of his own. The second youngest player was Carl Yastrzemski, and he had 2 hits, but he was 39. So great job by Derek Jeter. What an all-star game. What a way to go out. But now let's get to the actual all-star game. How did it go? Well, the AL won. So the American League, whoever goes to the World Series for the American League, they will have home field advantage. That's how it works in baseball. Whether you like it or not, that's how it works. And guess what? American League, they have the home field advantage, mainly thanks to a man named Mike Trout. Mr. Mike Trout went 2 for 3. He had a triple, an RBI triple, which brought in Derek Jeter, and he had an RBI double and a run as well. He got the run in the first inning. But you know what? Unbelievable stuff. And he wins the MVP. He's not even 23 years old, and he becomes the MVP of the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. He has a lot of time to win a second or a third, even maybe a fourth. Who knows? This guy is good, and everybody is saying, what a way to watch Derek Jeter pretty much exit baseball, even though he still has a half a year left. This was his farewell from Major League Baseball. This was a league-wide farewell. At the same time, it was a league-wide welcome to the new face of baseball. His name is Mike Trout. He won the MVP. Like I said, he'll have plenty of time to win another MVP. And he probably will. He most likely will. Looking at the pitching, Felix Hernandez came in. He pitched well. John Lester didn't do too well, even though he was pitching for his coach, John Farrell. He did not do too well at all. Chris Sale also, for the AL, also allowed a run. The only 2 pitchers to allow a run were those 2 right there, John Lester and Chris Sale. Everybody else did really well. Koji Uehara was in. Scott Kazmir was in. Max Scherzer pitched well. Greg Holland was in. Sean Doolittle. Fernando Rodney. Glenn Perkins. And like I said, Yu Darvish was in there. And, King Felix let it off right. I mean, he did a good job leading it off. And Derek Jeter, at the bottom of the inning, did a good job leading it off for the AL hitters. Adam Wainwright got roughed up. Now let's talk about Adam Wainwright. He comes out after the game and says that, he grooved a ball in there, let Jeter kind of get a hold of one. You know something? If that is true, which it didn't look true. The first pitch was down and in the dirt. The second pitch was a fastball away. And it didn't look like it was just your batting practice fastball. I mean, it was away. It wasn't, it was on the corner, kind of. It was on the edge It wasn't in the middle of the zone, down the middle, down the pipe. It wasn't slow. It had some zip to it. It was a normal fastball, just on the on the outer part of the zone. And listen, Derek Jeter does what Derek Jeter does best, and he took it away for a double. I don't think that was grooved into him. I don't think that was given to him. Sure, could have Wainwright have thrown a breaking ball instead of that fast? Yeah, he could have thrown anything. But who's to say that Derek Jeter wouldn't have hit something else? For you to come out after the game and make a comment like that, even if it is true, keep your mouth shut. Nobody needs to know about that. If that is the case, then don't say anything. Don't take anything away from Derek Jeter. And if that's not how you meant it, then don't say it anyways. Then what are you even getting out of saying something? What are you getting out of that? Nothing. Derek Jeter, as always, class act. He was asked by Peter Gammons afterwards, and he responds something along the lines of, you know what? Fine, if pitchers want to groove one into me, let them. I'll keep putting doubles. I'll take that all day. But he goes on to say that he kind of understands what Wainwright was saying, and that he doesn't feel as if the pitch was handed to him. He just feels as if Adam Wainwright was trying to throw a strike, which was the case. He was down. He was down in the count 1-0. Adam Wainwright was down in the count 1-0, so he had to throw a strike. I mean, there's no other way around talking about that. He had to throw a strike, or else he would be down 2-0, or maybe 3-0, and then he's on the verge of walking the leadoff batter. So obviously he was trying to throw a strike. So he threw a fastball. He threw an accurate pitch. He threw it away, and Jeter got it. There's nothing else that should be said about that. Ridiculous and pretty stupid by Adam Wainwright. Obviously, he feels bad about it, but that doesn't take away what you said. That does not take away from what you said. As he got hit pretty hard, three earned against him. Like I said, the Jeter double followed up by the Mike Trout triple, and followed up by a strikeout. He struck out Robbie Cano, and then Miguel Cabrera took him yard out of the park into the flower garden and left field, made it 3-0. And then they would hold on to that lead, so to speak. They would give up 2 by John Lester, and then Chris Sale gave up 1. But in comes Pat Neshek, if I'm getting that right, but he got roughed up. He only pitched a third of an inning. He allowed 3 hits, 2 earned, and the AL goes on to win this game 5-3. Big win for the American League. Big win for Derek Jeter in his heart. And a great game by Mike Trout. Miguel Cabrera also had a pretty good game. And other than that, I mean, you go past Miguel Cabrera in the order, nobody except Derek Norris got a hit. No one except Derek Norris. And he got a big hit because he got a run. Derek Norris ended up coming around and scoring a run. So that was a big hit by Derek Norris. Nobody else got a hit. Jose Abreu, nothing. Bautista 0 for 2. Yoenis Cespedes 0 for 2. Nelson Cruz 0 for 2. Adam Jones 0 for 2. Josh Donaldson 0 for 2. And not to say that the NL wasn't similar. Andrew McCutchen had a pretty good game, 1 for 3. He had a leadoff hit. He stole third, and they couldn't get him home. They could not get him home. Yasiel Puig 0 for 3. Troy Tulowitzki picked up a hit, but he was 1 for 3. Hunter Pence 0 for 1. Aramis Ramirez, I think I said. I'm saying it again. Aramis Ramirez went 2 for 3. He had a pretty good game. He had a run as well. No RBIs, but he had a run. Jonathan Lucroy had a great game for the NL. He went 2 for 2. He had 2 RBIs. Good game for him. And Chase Utley as well. He had a really good game as well. 1 for 1, 1 RBI, 1 run. But other than that, nobody. Josh Harrison 0 for 2. Giancarlo Stanton 0 for 3. A lot of the home run derby guys did not do well. Puig 0 for 3, although he didn't do well in the home run derby, so not to say much there. Stanton 0 for 3. Todd Frazier, he came in, he took a walk, so not bad for Frazier. But Bautista didn't have a hit. It was not a good showing for the home run derby competitors. Speaking of the home run derby, we will get into that in just a minute. We got to take a quick break, and we will be back with the home run derby. Keep it right here. It is the Goralnik Hour on All Noise Radio.
You know, our jobs occupy more than half our waking hours. Shouldn't we be doing something we love? Call Connecticut School of Broadcasting at 1-800-TV-RADIO or log on to gocsb.com. Since 1964, Connecticut School of Broadcasting, with a network of 12 campuses from Massachusetts to Miami, has helped place thousands of grads as DJs, sportscasters, entertainment reporters, behind the scenes in audio and video production, every aspect of the broadcast media. Connecticut School of Broadcasting has trained men and women of all ages and backgrounds in a matter of months, not years. Learn by doing from area radio and TV pros. Call 1-800-TV-RADIO or log on to gocsb.com. Remember, it's never too late to love what you do. Day and evening classes begin soon. Get trained. Get connected now. It's been 48 years Connecticut School of Broadcasting has helped place thousands of people, just like you, in exciting careers in radio, television, and the new media. At Connecticut School of Broadcasting, our hands-on approach is different. It's designed to have you spend less time in the classroom and more time in the studios. From the first day, you'll work with state-of-the-art equipment. Learn by doing from our team of industry professionals who come from their studios to ours. The best part about it, you'll learn it all in a matter of months, not years. Connecticut School of Broadcasting has a network of 12 campuses from Massachusetts to Miami. Remember, it's never too late to love what you do. So do what I did. Call 1-800-TV-RADIO. Step into the fast-paced world of the broadcast media. Day and evening classes begin soon. Connecticut School of Broadcasting. Get trained and get connected now. Call 1-800-TV-RADIO or log on to gocsb.com.
All right. Welcome back to the Goralnik Hour, brought to you by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. Future broadcasters, or want to be a broadcaster, take a look at the Connecticut School of Broadcasting with campuses all up and down the East Coast. Services galore. Even if you've graduated, you can still use anything that they offer. In fact, that's where I'm broadcasting from right now, the Connecticut School of Broadcasting Studios in Farmington, Connecticut. I hope you're listening on allnoiseradio.com, keyword sports, or maybe even download the app, Live 365. Type in All Noise Radio Sports, and you can listen 2 to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday. And so we just did our recap lap, as we do at the start of every show. And we're going to switch it up a little bit. Typically, we go right into classes in session, and I teach you a little about what happened in sports history on this date, on July 16th. And we'll get to that coming up in about 5 minutes. But right now, I just want to discuss the home run derby a little bit, as I promised before the break. Yoenis Cespedes. He is the man. First player to win back-to-back home run derbies since Ken Griffey Jr. And boy, did he do it in style. He came out and he had a slow start. Let's not fabricate it a little bit here. He had a slow start. In the first round, he only hit 3. But he moved on. He actually had a home run bat off just to decide order. But he moved on. And he went on to face Adam Jones in a head-to-head, where he smoked Adam Jones in a head-to-head by hitting 10, count them, 10 home runs. And then in round 3, he faced Jose Bautista, who hit 10 home runs in the first round, earning himself a bye. And he beat Bautista, hitting 7 home runs. Bautista only hit 4. Also in the first round, Josh Donaldson hit 3. Josh Donaldson lost to Cespedes in the batting, little bat off, I guess you want to call it. And Brian Dozier hit 2. So he was automatically out. In the NL, Todd Frazier struggled. He was the first batter. He hit 2. Giancarlo Stanton hit 6, earning him the bye because that was the most in the NL. And boy, did he ever have a blast. I mean, it was a blast and a half, a 510-yard home run. Now, obviously, that's not where it landed. The actual distance was 422 feet, but the projected distance, had it not hit the stands, was 510 feet. Unbelievable. Because if you're watching this, wow. I mean, I thought that ball was going out of the stadium. It was so high and far. He hit the triple deck, and he was probably about 10 rows from clearing the stadium. Clearing the stadium. I mean, he hit the ball like he was playing at the Green Monster. You know, he hit it so far that he looked like the home run derby was at Fenway Park. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable. I thought it was going to leave the stadium. It didn't. But he goes on. He earns the bye. Troy Tulowitzki, the captain, he came out. He hit 4, so not too bad. Yasiel Puig, oy. He came out and looked embarrassing. I mean, it was pretty bad. It looked like nerves to me, but for a guy who loves the lights and the stage, I don't know how he could be nervous. But his first hit was a check swing. Who check swings in the home run derby? I don't know, but he didn't put up a single home run. His final out was actually a home run, but it was well foul. So Justin Morneau, the hometown favorite, obviously, because he was a longtime Twin, and Todd Frazier had to go into a bat off as well, similar to the AL. And Todd Frazier won that one by hitting 1 home run. Moved on. He goes into round 2. Round 2 is Todd Frazier versus Troy Tulowitzki. And Todd Frazier, holy smokes, he went off for 6. 6 home runs. He finally found his groove. Troy Tulowitzki could not follow it up. He only hits 2. And so Todd Frazier goes on to take on Goliath. It's David versus the Goliath, and he takes on Giancarlo Stanton for the finals, for a chance to play in the finals. Todd Frazier elects to go first. He hits 1. Everybody in the park thinking the same thing. Okay, well, it's going to be Giancarlo Stanton in the finals. Stanton comes out and drops a goose egg. Only player to not hit a home run in a single round other than Yasiel Puig. So now it's Todd Frazier in the home run derby finals versus who? Yoenis Cespedes, as he beat Bautista 7-4. And Cespedes goes first. Todd Frazier elects to go second this time. And not a good move, as Cespedes just came off of hitting 7 to beat Jose Bautista. Comes out and hits another 9. I mean, he got stronger as the night went on. And guess what? 9-1 was the final. I don't think Todd Frazier had a chance. He walked in and he almost had a smile on his face like, well, that's that. It was pretty much all over from when that moment came. But you know what? Great job by the youngster Todd Frazier getting himself into the home run derby finals. It was almost like fate. I mean, if he won, it would have almost been fate. You look at Yoenis Cespedes, and he had 22 home runs going into the finals. Todd Frazier, he had 10. Cespedes had more than double the amount of home runs that Todd Frazier had. Unbelievable stuff. Frazier finished with 11, and Cespedes finished with 31. Okay, so that just shows you right there, the guy deserved it. He deserved it. He deserved to win it. He was hungry for it. You could see how badly he wanted it, and he won it. That's about that. I mean, that's what it came down to. He wanted it. He got it. And to be honest with you, it was a good home run derby. The format was awesome. I didn't like the final. The final was very flat, was very disappointing. It was also late because they had an hour rain delay. And it didn't reflect, but it reflected. The rain delay isn't why the finals was bad, but at the same time, it helped it because it was almost at that point, it was like, all right, let's go home. You know, he hit 9. Todd Frazier's struggling at bat. He looked like a little leaguer out there compared to Yoenis Cespedes. It was sad. It's too bad because I'm sure most of the people would have liked Giancarlo Stanton versus Jose Bautista or Yoenis Cespedes, but Stanton puts up the goose egg when all he needed was 2 to move on. 2 to move on. He could not do so, and that is how the Major League Home Run Derby ended. Yoenis Cespedes, back-to-back champs. We'll move on right now as we will take a quick break, and coming up in 2 minutes, what happened July 16th in sports history? Find out. It's the Goralnik Hour. Keep it right here.
You know, our jobs occupy more than half our waking hours. Shouldn't we be doing something we love? Call Connecticut School of Broadcasting at 1-800-TV-RADIO or log on to gocsb.com. Since 1964, Connecticut School of Broadcasting, with a network of 12 campuses from Massachusetts to Miami, has helped place thousands of grads as DJs, sportscasters, entertainment reporters, behind the scenes in audio and video production, every aspect of the broadcast media. Connecticut School of Broadcasting has trained men and women of all ages and backgrounds in a matter of months, not years. Learn by doing from area radio and TV pros. Call 1-800-TV-RADIO or log on to gocsb.com. Remember, it's never too late to love what you do. Day and evening classes begin soon. Get trained. Get connected now.
Connecticut School of Broadcasting founder Dick Robinson.
You know, the media business has changed a lot since we opened our doors in 1964. Now media content is everywhere, on air, online, on the go. More than ever, companies are looking for people to help drive this new media.
At Connecticut School of Broadcasting, you'll get hands-on training on the latest software and equipment in a matter of months, not years. Connecticut School of Broadcasting has placed thousands of grads in broadcast media careers.
It's all about versatility. You see, at a radio station, if you also know how to shoot, edit, and post videos, you become a pretty hot commodity. That's the training you get at Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
Connecticut School of Broadcasting, with locations up and down the East Coast from Massachusetts to Miami. Call 1-800-TV-RADIO or log on to gocsb.com. Connecticut School of Broadcasting, the nation's oldest and largest group of broadcast media schools, redefining training in radio, TV, and new media. Get trained. Get connected. 1-800-TV-RADIO.
Okay. Yeah, it is the Goralnik Hour. Hope everybody is having a good afternoon. It is about 2:36 right now. We have our final 24 minutes of the show coming up. Still to come, Adam's Fantasy. That's actually coming up in about 8 minutes, so keep it locked here as we discuss the British Open, or just more simply, the Open, with our fantasy expert insider, Adam. And also coming up, what to watch for. Not too much. Not too much indeed. But we will get to some top stories, some NBA stories, little NCAA football stories. And guess what? NFL training camps are opening soon. That's good news. We could talk some football in a little while. Maybe not today, but soon. Very soon, my friends. Football season is quickly approaching as we are almost midway through July already. I cannot believe it. But what happened on July 16th? Let me take you into class right now. Professor Brian, that is I. Let me explain. In 1950, on July 16th, the largest crowd in sporting history was 199,854. A shade under 200,000 people. Now, let me clarify. That is the largest crowd in sporting history in an enclosed arena. That's not in an open arena. There have been larger crowds in an open arena. But that crowd, 199,000, was for the Uruguay and Brazil World Cup final in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And much like Brazil this year, they lost. Not in the finals, but they lost. They still came up short from the World Cup victory in Brazil for the home team as Uruguay wins. They won that game. Uruguay, just to mention, actually won the World Cup as well when it was hosted in Uruguay. So they are very familiar with winning in their home country. Brazil, on the other hand, for some reason, they cannot get it done when they host the World Cup. I don't know. Maybe too much pressure. I don't know. And finally, Little League Baseball was granted a federal charter unanimously by the United States Senate and House of Representatives. Now, for people that don't understand what a federal charter is, let me explain. A federal charter is pretty much a term used to explain an agreement or union that establishes a corporation. So, on July 16th, in 1964, Little League Baseball Incorporated became a corporation. I don't know if it was incorporated before. I'm sure it wasn't, because incorporated pretty much means you're a corporation. But they became official, and it's a good thing they did, because Little League Baseball is huge. It is not just something played in America. It is unbelievably huge. It is a world thing. Every country essentially plays Little League Baseball. They have a World Series that features teams from all over the world. Whereas the World Series in Major League Baseball is just the majors. It's just Major League Baseball. It is just in America. But the Little League World Series, there's teams from Japan. There's teams from Iran. It is an amazing corporation. And in 1964 is essentially when it all started. That is when they became official. And that, my friends, is your history lesson for the day. Class is now dismissed. Coming up, 2 minutes, Adam's Fantasy. Do not want to miss this. We'll talk Tiger Woods. We'll talk Justin Rose and a little bit more. Take you overseas for the Open Championship. That's coming up in 2 minutes. Keep it here. It is the Goralnik Hour.
It's been 48 years Connecticut School of Broadcasting has helped place thousands of people, just like you, in exciting careers in radio, television, and the new media. At Connecticut School of Broadcasting, our hands-on approach is different. It's designed to have you spend less time in the classroom and more time in the studios. From the first day, you'll work with state-of-the-art equipment. Learn by doing from our team of industry professionals who come from their studios to ours. The best part about it, you'll learn it all in a matter of months, not years. Connecticut School of Broadcasting has a network of 12 campuses from Massachusetts to Miami. Remember, it's never too late to love what you do. So do what I did. Call 1-800-TV-RADIO. Step into the fast-paced world of the broadcast media. Day and evening classes begin soon. Connecticut School of Broadcasting. Get trained and get connected now. Call 1-800-TV-RADIO or log on to GoCSB.com.
Connecticut School of Broadcasting founder Dick Robinson.
You know, the media business has changed a lot since we opened our doors in 1964. Now media content is everywhere, on air, online, on the go. More than ever, companies are looking for people to help drive this new media.
At Connecticut School of Broadcasting, you'll get hands-on training on the latest software and equipment in a matter of months, not years. Connecticut School of Broadcasting has placed thousands of grads in broadcast media careers.
It's all about versatility. You see, at a radio station, if you also know how to shoot, edit, and post videos, you become a pretty hot commodity. That's the training you get at Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
Connecticut School of Broadcasting with locations up and down the East Coast from Massachusetts to Miami. Call 1-800-TV-RADIO or log on to GoCSB.com. Connecticut School of Broadcasting, the nation's oldest and largest group of broadcast media schools, redefining training in radio, TV, and new media. Get trained. Get connected. 1-800-TV-RADIO.
Welcome back to the Goralnik Hour. Talking the Open Championship, as that is starting tomorrow. And by tomorrow, I mean really early our time. Most people will not even be awake when it starts. But you know what? When we're talking golf, there's only one person to talk golf with, and that is our fantasy insider, Adam Goralnik. He is our expert at all of this and more, and we got him on the phone right now. Adam, how's it going today?
Good, Brian. How you doing, buddy?
I am very good. As I mentioned, we are talking the Open Championship. Let's get right down to it. At the Royal Liverpool, Tiger Woods. He won in 2006 at this same course. It's his first major this year. How's he going to do?
I wouldn't get my expectations up on his performance. I think that he's worked at his game a little more since Congressional a few weeks ago. I expect him to be a little better than Congressional. Could he make the cut? Absolutely. I would be very disappointed, actually, if he didn't make the cut. But his game is nowhere near where it needs to be to compete in these type of championships. Players like Justin Rose, players like Adam Scott are far better than he is now, just because they haven't had the injury issues. They haven't had the time off. So while I would expect Tiger to make the cut, I wouldn't expect him to be a big factor, and I would not expect him to be anywhere near the top of the leaderboards.
Okay. You mentioned Justin Rose. He won last weekend at for the Scottish Open, so he's the number 3 in the world right now. Does he come in as the favorite in your mind?
Well, according to the gamblers overseas, and they are big gamblers over there, he is their number 1 favorite.
Well, him and Rory McIlroy.
Yes, he's definitely got to be considered as one of the big favorites. I think you still got to consider McIlroy. You still got to consider Adam Scott, and you know that you're obviously going to get a couple of guys who you would not expect to come out of nowhere. A la Phil Mickelson last season. But I love the way Justin Rose is playing. It was his second victory in 3 weeks. He won at Congressional a few weeks ago with the Scottish Open. Obviously, you want momentum going into these majors. You want to be playing your best golf, and right now Justin Rose is playing the best of anybody. So definitely, I would to consider him as one of the favorites, if not the favorite.
Now, how do you think Royal Liverpool? It's a crazy course. I mean, it could change on a dime, literally. I mean, the wind, each hole pretty much is a different hole, almost day to day. How do you think it's going to be playing this year?
I expect it to play tough. It's not the particularly long course that these golfers are used to these days. If you remember in 2006, Tiger won that championship. He only hit one driver the entire week. a lot of irons, a lot of 3-woods. The key to Liverpool, obviously, is number one, you got to keep the ball in the fairway. The grass way to the left, right, is just absolutely absurd when it comes to the height and the difficulty of getting the ball out. So to be able to keep the ball in the fairway, keep the ball in play will be key. And then, like any other British Open, a lot is luck. The weather can change on a dime there. It could be sunny and beautiful 1 hour, and the next hour it can be 30, 40-mile-an-hour winds and rain coming in sideways. So a lot of it is luck. Which golfer is going to play his tee times with the better ideal conditions? Those are the factors. So if you're the lucky golfer who gets the good tee times with the fortunate weather, and you're able to keep the ball in play and not spray the ball left and right, you're going to be in contention come Sunday.
Absolutely. Now, Adam, we're curious. Can you throw out a sleeper? What's one golfer that maybe you have your eyes on that could play very well in this tournament and maybe is not necessarily a big-name golfer?
Well, I'm not going to give you a big-name golfer, but I'm going to throw a name out there. And every year he's mentioned, every year it's, when is it going to be his turn? When is he going to win? And I'll actually give you two. The first one is Lee Westwood, and the second one is Sergio Garcia. Probably the two best players, maybe Steve Stricker would be included as well, but the two best players who have yet to win a major. But it's in Westwood's country this year. We're in England. If Lee Westwood was ever going to win a major, if Lee Westwood was ever going to win a British Open, this would be the one. Now, his game this year has been off. He has not been playing well. He doesn't come into the Open with any momentum whatsoever. So, obviously, you could get him at a good number if you wanted to bet Lee Westwood. If he's ever going to do it, this would be the one to do it at.
Yeah, absolutely.
If he doesn't do it here, then you know what? You might as well just write him off because he's probably never going to do it.
And Lee Westwood has good history at the Open. He has top three finishes, and he actually tied for third last year at Muirfield. So definitely not a long stretch for Lee Westwood.
I agree. And Sergio Garcia comes in playing well. If you remember at the Travelers a few weeks ago, he finished tied for second place. And again, if he's ever going to win one, you got to figure it's got to be now.
Yeah.
And a guy like Sergio can hit the ball with distance, can hit the ball with some accuracy. It should set up good for Liverpool. So if you're looking for odds on, I would go with those two.
Okay, and as you said, Garcia, he's another man who plays the Opens pretty well. He has 7 top 10s in his last 17 starts, including his runner-up performance in 2007. Adam, I want to get to my last question before we get to your final thought. I'm going to throw you 3 pairings, okay? And I want you to tell me which pairing you're most excited for. First pairing, Ernie Els, Bubba Watson, and Phil Mickelson. Then the other pairing, Tiger Woods, Angel Cabrera, and Henrik Stenson. And finally, Adam Scott, Justin Rose, and Jason Duffner.
Well, I would have to go with the Scott, Rose, and Duffner group just because you got 2 of those 3 guys, I think, playing the best golf of their careers right now. Adam Scott he won at Colonial a few weeks ago. Over the last year or so, nobody's been better. He's made his way all the way to number 1. And Justin Rose, probably playing the best golf of his career as well, has climbed to number 3 with a good showing. He could get past Henrik Stenson at number 2. And wouldn't that be awesome if you had number 1 and number 2 when the tournament was over playing in the same group with each other? So I'm looking forward to that Scott, Rose, Duffner group. Duffner is always a character. You never know what you're going to get out of him.
He has a major.
And he does have a major. Jeter, yes. So that should be a fun group.
Well, the time to tune
I'm
in for
looking-
the group that you're looking forward to is, it's 2:27 their time, local time, 9:27 in the morning. Hopefully you'll be up for it, Adam. And until then, let's hear your final thought.
All right. Well, Brian, my final thought today is basically on Derek Jeter. And this coming from a Red Sox fan that I am, you can do absolutely nothing but tip your cap to this man. Excuse me. He has done everything that any baseball player should do. A role model, a leader, a future Hall of Famer. Last night, somebody in the crowd was chanting overrated right before Derek Jeter slapped an Adam Wainwright ball to right field for an opposite field double. Anybody in their right mind who thinks that Derek Jeter is overrated seriously needs to have their head examined. This is a guy not only who was the captain of his own team, not only played his entire professional career with the same team, but has been the poster boy role model for Major League Baseball. He's the guy who didn't do the steroids. He's the guy who didn't visit the biogenesis clinic. He's the guy who didn't have the off-the-field issues, even when he was dating famous female celebrities on the side. Derek Jeter is a class act. Derek Jeter should be what sports athletes should be, and that is role models to the children and great citizens overall. To call him overrated is absolutely astonishing, ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. That guy seriously should have been thrown out of the ballpark last night just for his stupidity and idiocracy. All I know is that Derek Jeter deserved what he got last night, a standing ovation. He will deserve everything he gets from here on out. That's my view and outlook for the day.
And he is Adam Goralnik, and that is Adam's fantasy. He always says it best. I'm glad I'm not the only one who heard that. The guy shout out as soon as the crowd kind of went silent because the first Adam Wainwright pitch went into the dirt. The crowd went silent, and you just hear, overrated. And it's just one guy yelling it as loud as he can, and it made TV. People heard it. I heard it. Adam heard it. But you know what? Pretty much as he finished overrated, Derek Jeter proceeded to hit his double down the line. And you know what? I think that shut that guy up really, really, really quick. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with a few more top stories, and then that'll be it for the show. We don't have too much more time left. Keep it right here. It's the Goralnik Hour.
All Noise Radio. Powered by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. All Noise Radio is an internet radio station that's fully produced by graduates of the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. From modern rock to old school hip hop, country to classical, news, talk, sports, and more. It's the noise you can't ignore. Log on to allnoiseradio.com. Fire up the station. Find out more about your favorite jocks. Get the latest CSB news and more. Plus, you can take All Noise Radio with you on the go for free. Just download the Live 365 app to your iPhone, iPod Touch, or BlackBerry and search All Noise Radio. Check out tomorrow's broadcasters today at allnoiseradio.com. Powered by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
That's right. It's the Goralnik Hour. You're tuning in, hopefully, on allnoiseradio.com, or maybe you downloaded the app Live 365. Hear me every day, 2 to 3 p.m., Monday through Friday. We just discussed a little bit of the Open Championship, the British Open, as we sometimes refer to it as. And that is starting tomorrow. And by tomorrow, I mean pretty much tonight. Most people will not be up when the Open gets underway. I mean, some people are teeing off at 9, some people are teeing off at 4 in the morning, and that's our time. That's obviously not their time. So hopefully if you're up early, I'll be up early, so I'll be able to catch all the action. I have to, because then I could tell you everything that happened tomorrow at 2 to 3 p.m. as long as you're tuning in. Let's get into a few more stories here. We have about 2 minutes left. Lance Stevenson has had enough in Indiana. He is done. He is moving on, and he is taking his game to Charlotte. He is with the Charlotte Hornets. He signed a 3-year deal, $27 million. And the 3 years gives him flexibility, good money. And you know what? The Charlotte Hornets are going to be a pretty good team. They will be a pretty good team. They're re-imaging themselves, becoming the Charlotte Hornets again instead of the Charlotte Bobcats. They made a few good moves in the offseason, and I like where they're headed. I think Lance Stevenson can really help them, and I think it really hurts the Indiana Pacers. The Pacers, who could have been not a favorite, but a solid contender. I mean, you're looking at the Pacers, they were number 2 or maybe number 1 back when LeBron was on the Heat. Well, LeBron's off the Heat, and the Pacers are essentially the same team. So who's to say that they wouldn't be number 2 or number 1 again? Well, now they don't have Lance Stevenson. They had an abysmal playoffs last year, and Roy Hibbert, who knows what he will result in, who knows how he'll turn out. So yeah, I mean, Pacers, I think, are not in trouble, but definitely taking a step back. That really hurts them. Finals MVP Kawhi Leonard decides to withdraw from consideration from Team USA. You know something? He cites it because he needs to rest. Kawhi Leonard really needs to take his game to another level. He really, really does, because he has all the talent in the world. He really can take his game to the next level. But if he doesn't, if he comes out next year and is worse than he was this year, you really got to wonder, what did he do during the summer? What did he do when he wasn't playing for the Team USA? I don't know. So Kawhi Leonard decides not to play. The Wizards re-sign Drew Gooden to a 1-year deal. Good job keeping Gooden. Rashard Lewis set to join the Mavs on a 1-year deal for the league minimum. So the Mavs making a few moves. And Dwayne Wade obviously re-signed with the Miami Heat for a 2-year contract, $31.1 million, and includes a player option. Now I'm looking at this. Within the next 2 years, there are going to be pretty much all the star players on the market. Kevin Durant on the market. LeBron James back on the market. Dwayne Wade on the market. I mean, so many players are going to be available, at the end of this year or at the end of next year. In 2 years, we could see an entirely different NBA. It depends on if they decide to stay or move or whatever they want to do, but oh my goodness. And so, who knows? We'll see what's going on, but for the most part, the NBA is set for the upcoming season. And it'll be a good one. It'll be a really good one. And finally, Alabama, USC to open 2016 September 3rd at AT&T Stadium. The teams last met in '85 at the Aloha Bowl. It'll be a good one. Good way to start the 2016 season. But for now, we still have to play the 2015 season. Have yet to get to that. I cannot wait for the college playoffs, the new system. I'm going to really enjoy that this year. And on a last note, Texas A&M coach was asked during SEC Media Day, was asked questions about Johnny Manziel. Enough of Johnny Manziel already, especially to a coach who's not coaching him anymore. And they asked him something about off-field issues. I don't know exactly what the question was, but he's like, "Oh, that's an excellent question for the Cleveland Browns. Can we focus on the Aggies when we're talking to the Texas A&M coach? When it's SEC Media Day, let's focus on what's actually in the SEC. All right, Johnny Manziel is no longer there. So for all the reporters that like to harp on old news, stop harping. Move on. Okay? Move on. Please. Johnny Manziel is in the NFL. If you want to talk about him, get a job covering the NFL. If not, that's it. Move on. Please. Move on. Anyways, that is all the time that we have for today, unfortunately, but this has been a pleasure, as always. It is the Goralnik Hour. Like I said, 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., Monday through Friday. Make sure you tune in. We'll be back with you tomorrow. Have a good day, everybody.